Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your end of November 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So, in the last half of November, there are a couple of transits that you might be interested in. One of them is the new moon in your sign, which is occurring on the 14th, very late, or 15th, depending on where you live. And, you can envision the next 12 months, your solar cycle, and what you would like to manifest in the next year. And that would be great for you. And actually, even before that, I'm recording this on November 10th. And if you're watching before mid-month, there is going to be an important transit with Mars stationing direct on the 13th. And this is in the sign of Aries. So for Scorpio people, this has been a transit through your 6th house. And so you may have had some kind of frustrations at work that you didn't feel like you could resolve for whatever reason. And now things are going to move forward. And so that's an important development as well. And then at the end of the month, we have the lunar eclipse that is occurring at 8 degrees of Gemini. And this is going to be in the house that you rule, the 8th house. So this is an especially intense type of transit for anybody, let alone a Scorpio. But, this is right up your alley. So that might be something that you find very enlightening and meaningful to you, because this is a very powerful full moon in this area of what lies beneath. And so it can really bring up a lot of inner demons, But I mean, when I say that, I just mean that, that everybody has the things that they are repressing coming to the surface, to be let go of, and including addictions, obsessions, and things like that. So it can actually have a very healing influence, as well as like psychologically healing, or feeling the sense of understanding yourself better, maybe. So that should be like quite a powerful end to the month, that lunar eclipse in the 8th house. So the heart of the matter is the Lover's card. And this is a card of, it's interesting because I do associate this with the 8th house, because this is a card of intimacy. The 8th house is a card of intimacy, but not just physical intimacy, but the emotional variety. And so this may be something that is a theme for you. And certainly with that eclipse, that could be talking about some kind of situation where if you have a relationship with somebody, that you're taking it to a deeper level and you're finding out maybe something about them, or I would say even with yourself, maybe letting go of that typical Scorpio need to kind of keep things under wraps, to keep your ability to control everything, front and center, where you're more likely to just say, I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable and to reveal all of this stuff that I never have told anybody about before. So even though they show these people naked, it really can be about unbearing your soul. or bearing your soul to somebody else. This can be a choice. I mean, the Lover's card can indicate that you have a choice to make about something. And if we look in the past position, we see the Ten of Swords, which is a card of betrayal. Betrayal is something which Scorpios dread. You know, this is something that you fear more than anything. And yet it can be something that if you don't allow that to dominate you, that kind of a fear, you can be free to act as a free agent. So in other words, if you think about it in terms of relationships, if somebody is afraid of being rejected or being betrayed in a relationship, they may avoid them altogether. Or even like if you are a creative person and you want to publish a book, but you're afraid of the rejection slip, that kind of thing. Or, you can apply it to anything in life where there's always this threat that somebody that you're trying to gain approval from will not approve of what it is that you're doing, and you have to still risk it. You have to be brave enough to do that. So that could be what the choice is, because perhaps it's happened before. The Ten of Swords is the past position, so it may be that that's kind of weighing on your mind if you've met somebody that you really care for. But that's the paradoxical thing, because if you have met somebody and you've fallen in love with somebody, and yet you are haunted by past betrayal, so you are trying to protect your heart, what will happen? You will keep yourself somewhat, I was going to say mysterious to the other person. That's one of the tactics that Scorpio uses, is like, don't reveal too much about yourself, your feelings, and whatnot. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that other person only has a superficial or a limited understanding of what makes you tick, and they can't sympathize, empathize, or bond with you because you're withholding from them. And if you were able to say, look, I really care for you, but I'm afraid that you're going to do what these other people, this is what happened to me in the past, and you were willing to brave that, you would probably have a better chance. But, sometimes Scorpio thinks, I don't want to give the other person information they can use against me at a future date. So you're always on the defensive, where you're always like kind of protecting yourself. And that can lead to closed off emotional relationships. The higher message is the Four of Cups, and this is a card of perhaps somebody offering you love, affection, or whatnot, and you being indifferent to it. So, but it can also be that you're jaded. So if we're talking about someone specifically in your life who hasn't done anything wrong to you, but you're still afraid, there's that potential for it. You could come across to that person as indifferent or kind of emotionally flat, or what's another word? Yeah, like kind of dissatisfied with whatever is presented, and therefore the other person may feel like what they're doing is not good enough. And so sometimes when people are feeling like they're so absorbed in their own pain or their own, memories of painful situations, they forget that other people are human too, and they have vulnerabilities too. And so if you are being kind of closed off to them, they're going to feel like they're not good enough. I'm not saying that they will, but that could trigger that within that other person, and then they can pull back. Sometimes people pull back out of their own desire to protect themselves. So it's important to be able to, even if you have experienced heartbreak, rejection, what have you, that you are sensitive to other people, the other person, and what they may have gone through. If this is related to some kind of work situation, you may be fielding job offers and you're not really thrilled with what you have, or you may be tempted to take something just for the sake of being employed. But the Four of Cups, I always, when, with Scorpio, I'm always like, do you really feel it? If you're not feeling it, it's probably going to be very hard for you to put your all into it. Another sign, like your opposite sign, Taurus, they may be the kind of sign, or Virgo, that's like, I'm so glad I'm working, and that's all that matters to them. But you're a little bit more where, because you're a water sign, and because of the nature of Scorpio, the intensity of emotion is in everything that you do, not just with your love life. So you have very strong likes and dislikes. And if you ever feel indifferent, which is kind of what that Four of Cups is, then that could be a red flag for you about whether or not this is going to be something that's a vibrational match to you, that will work, that you can sustain. What crosses you is the Three of Wands. I'm reading it like a reversed card. And there may be a feeling within you that you're kind of like, your world is too small. And this can be a card in the upright position that is connected to situations involving expansion. So kind of expanding your territory or things like that. But because it's in the challenge position, it's going to be different than that. The number 3 can be a number that is associated with abundance, creativity, expansion, kind of, exploring, outside your little comfort zone. And this may be like if you are, like trying to, if you're like a creative person, you may have like a creative block. You have, perhaps maybe you even have wanted to launch something on your own. And if you have tried to do so, but you have been a little bit unrealistic in your goals and they've been too lofty, it may not have been possible to attain what you wanted to attain. And you have to be more adventurous sometimes. I think with Scorpio, there can be a tendency, even though you're a very powerful and brave sign, to be, I think all water signs in some ways are rather cautious about, especially about financial ventures and things like that. The Three of Wands in the upright position can be entrepreneurship. And so maybe there has been, maybe the Lover's card, which is connected to Venus, maybe that type of creative block, which is preventing you from doing what you have wanted to do. And you have to kind of be able to transcend that. It's funny because where I live, and I think this might be around the United States, they have these little libraries that people have constructed outside their houses, and they, there are donated books there. And I just picked up a copy of The Artist's Way. I already had a copy of that. And I was reading the intro yesterday, and it was really inspiring because they were talking about, this is a book about, how to kind of get those creative juices back, and just kind of the discipline that goes along with it. So perhaps for some of you who are creative, this has been a time of frustration in that sense of you can't get it going. But I feel like, that's just kind of true for a lot of people because of the external influences that we've had, that they've been kind of distracting, and that can lead to not really feeling like you can, create and do much of anything sometimes. So it's understandable. And I think that as time goes on, that will flow back to you. But definitely, if you're somebody like I just described, you might want to pick up a copy of The Artist's Way, just to give you some structure on how to, tips, and there's exercises on how to get yourself back into that creative flow. What's coming in is the Six of Wands. This is a very positive card. This is a card of, attainment, kind of like, what's that? I always use that phrase, like, strutting your stuff, or actually like taking a bow, getting accolades. So being recognized in terms of your career achievement. The wands relate to career. This is actually a card connected to Leo. And of course, Leo is a sign that basks in its, the lion that loves to get praise and stuff like that. So something that you're doing can produce that. And I think that the choice is yours. You may be tempted, or maybe a better word is not tempted, but feeling a bit of a negative trace of doubt with the Ten of Swords. So there might be something that's making you, I'm not sure, but if you go for it, you might find that you achieve the success that you're looking for. And it's not a surprise that we have in the challenge position this Three of Wands, and then we have this upright, the Six of Wands, because like I said about the Three of Wands, Wands in general is about expansion. It's connected to fire energy. So the idea of going for your dreams and being able to be creative is part of Wands, and being autonomous, not dependent on others. So that's where that entrepreneurial energy comes in. But at the same time, we still are, even if we're independent, we want that kind of recognition, and it's not so much validation like, oh, I'm really okay, I'm insecure, but to know that other people are responding to what we're offering in a positive way. It really does make a difference. It's very encouraging, but it's encouraging because we want to feel recognized for what we believe are our talents. But by the same token, we also want to know that we are helping other people, that they are receiving what we are producing with a positive intention, that they feel that it's valuable to them. And the other thing about this card, if we look at it from the advice angle, because sometimes I am also doing it for that purpose, you can see it as the advice is like learning how to accept compliments, and which is really about believing that you are deserving of love and praise. And that may seem like a no-brainer, but it really is more complex than that. And there are definitely people who have a very hard time accepting praise. It's almost like they push it away as soon as they get it. And we could link that to people who cannot accept love, cannot accept being told that they are special to somebody else. Because, again, this 10 of Swords, it's so, it's something that, makes the person fear the possibility of, betrayal, that it can become safer just to be kind of walled up and keeping to yourself. So whether this is a professional achievement or a personal relationship, this can occur. The outcome is the 10, why am I saying this? King of Swords, which is, I would call this self-mastery over your thoughts. And typically we see with the King of Swords this ability to make a decision. So if you do have that decision that the Lover's card suggests, that you're able to make it in a way where you don't feel a sense of a trace of doubt or any emotional residue that is keeping you from, being able to make a clear choice. Because I think a lot of times that's what can, when people are torn between two things, it's because they really are, something is being brought up in them, like guilt or fear, shame. I shouldn't quit this job because, I don't want to put the onus of, I just don't have the money, whatever it is that they're thinking, I don't have the money saved and I should wait until I do, even if this is something that perhaps that 10 of Swords that you've gotten betrayed in your current workplace and you've never been able to really trust again. And perhaps, it really did, there was, if there were multiple betrayals at work, an example would be promised a promotion, didn't get it. Something promised a raise, didn't get it. And after, if this happens over and over again, it can feel like, okay, this is the last straw. Because the number 10 is the end of a cycle. And there might be some reason that you have to accept that this is really over with. And maybe, because of finances, you have to continue there for the time being, but you will be eventually leaving and finding that work that makes you feel much more alive, like you're using your creative talents and things like that. The 6 of Wands can be something that you're involved with. Maybe it isn't even like a professional achievement, although it could be a creative achievement, and you realize this is where my passion lies. This is where my talent really lies. I'm going to go in this direction instead. Okay, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer. I do tarot readings, personal tarot readings though, too. You can check out my offerings at the link below. Thank you. Bye.